All right, hello and welcome to our Yin Yoga class today. The theme for this class is the same as my theme has been this past week, the Moon in Scorpio. And the Scorpio rules the hips, the pelvis, and also the reproductive organs. It also represents transformation, letting go and diving into emotional depths. So in yin, this is more available in stillness, and we can really sit with the sensations in our body and allow the old energy to leave the body and make space. So our first pose is going to be supported fish. To make it a little bit more mild, especially as it's our first pose, if you have like a beach towel or a blanket like this, rolled up under your chest, and the legs are just going to be straight. You can see the bolster is much bigger, so as an opening pose, that might be too big. What you could do is you could use your bolster for under your knees. So it'll be a nice sort of wave-like shape that you'll make. So as you lie down, legs either straight bent or supported, and then placing that rolled up blanket under your chest where your arms come behind it. And that really opens us up. Relax into your legs. In the comfort of your own space, perhaps your eyes gently close. And we'll be here for 4 minutes, opening up our body. We pop the timer on. And welcome your body onto the floor. Open up the heart center. Softening, releasing, surrendering. And we'll return to the book. We took a break from the Karma book last class. So returning to Satguru's book called Karma, A Yogi's Guide to Crafting Your Destiny. Karma and the elements. Elemental memory plays a big role in shaping the human being. 5 elements make up the human system: the planet, the solar system, and the entire universe. Without them, there would be no creation. With just 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, think of the incredible diversity of life. We see millions and millions of manifestations around us, and no two individuals are ever the same. What makes this extraordinary diversity possible? It is the fact that the elements are highly receptive and have the capacity to acquire memory. Over time, a layer of information of what we might call the karmic substance gathers on each of these elements. Without these layers of specific information, each human being would not be so utterly unique. The elements play a major role, therefore, in perpetuating karma. Yoga has a system called Bhutta Shuddhi, which is about cleansing the elements of accumulated information or karmic substance. The 5 elements imbibe and hold information, and this information naturally creates intention. Once you have an intention, you start moving in a particular direction. By cleansing the elements of this layer of information, Bhutta Shuddhi is capable of transforming a human being in miraculous ways. Let's pause there. We're coming up to 3 minutes here, noticing the sensations in your body, perhaps quite strongly across your upper chest and shoulders as you release and allow this yin pose into your body. Taking time for yin is so important for mind, body, the entire system. congratulate yourself for taking this practice and allowing it into your body. A few more breaths here. Last 20 seconds. And then slowly, gently beginning to release. So maybe if your head is dropping quite far back, use your hand to pick up your head and then roll off of your support and come up gently to sitting when you can. Excellent. And this next pose is a sitting position butterfly forward fold. You can use any props or no props. So without props, as yin originally was, propless, your soles of feet together and a rounded back. However, if you're very mobile in your hips and your knees tend to go straight to the floor, you might want to give some time for that to happen. So one of the easiest ways would be a couple of cushions or a couple of blocks underneath your thighs. And then after the first 2 minutes, you can decide whether to keep them there or to take them away. You can also put your rolled up blanket or bolster underneath your knees so that they have softness to fall into. That's quite nice just with the blanket there. So up to you. Getting ready for, let's just stick with 4 minutes today for most of our poses. And begin to gently forward fold. Again, no pulling, no grabbing, simply releasing. If the weight of your head is causing your neck to feel uncomfortable, you could make two fists or cup your chin in your hands. Or you could have more cushions on your feet to rest your head on. Plenty options there. 4 minutes in butterfly forward fold. Nice. Every yoga practice, whether it's a posture or other practices or breathing processes or kriyas, which are internal cleansers, the elements are within us. But there is also direct Bhuta Shuddhi process that there's a hugely powerful way to clean up. This cannot be taught in a book because it's a process of transmission, not instruction. But it's important to introduce all to the existence of this possibility because it's one of the most effective processes of inner cleansing. I believe I have initiated more women into this process than has ever happened in the past. Since the play of elements is different in the sexes, particularly fire and water, which are dominant in the female system, the traditional Bhuta Shuddhi process has been male-oriented in the past. However, by adapting it, we can make the same possibility available to both male and female. I believe that it's necessary for our times in order to ensure that no one is excluded from this amazing transformative potential of this process. What makes this process significant is that over time, the elements in your system will be in balance with each other and with your intentions for life. They begin to function the way you want them to, and over time, this will have some impact on the elements around you. Eastern medical systems like Ayurveda and Siddha have always been based on this perception that no two human beings are alike. The way the elements function in one person is not the way they function in another. This makes them unique designer systems of medicine that are hard to standardize. The doctor prescribes differently for each person because the treatment is based not on the ailment, but on the individual's constitution. 5 different people with the same symptom will be treated differently. A deep understanding of the elements underlies this. One more minute here, everyone. So perhaps a little bit more depth to your forward bend, if that feels good. It's so interesting, this type of treatment like Ayurveda compared to Western medicine because of the individual. It's so interesting the way Ayurveda works. It's worth investigating if you have access to Ayurveda medicine wherever you are. Few more moments here. 20 seconds. 20, yeah, 20 seconds, sorry, not 20 minutes. Five, four, three, two, and one. Gently rising up, taking your time. At the top, bringing your knees in, allowing your hands to help you, making space around you for a little windshield wiping. Very gently, nothing too fast, leaning back, feet together, knees together, and rocking both legs side to side. Nice. A little bit of up and down in our poses today. So next one is back onto our back for a reclining twist. And the twist this time could be, again, using props. I like the bolster for this one, but anything you have. And that prop can be by one side of your body. And then when you lie down, you roll towards your prop and take the outside leg. So inside leg stays close to your bolster, straight. Outside knee comes up. And we really like our foot to be on our prop as well. If you have something long enough to have your knee at hip height and your foot propped up as well. The arm comes out. So to begin with, you're lying on your side, and then you open out and look the other direction. If your knee pops up like so, you can use your hand to bring it down, or you can use your blanket underneath the bolster to bring that side higher. That's very comfortable. And then opening up. 3 minutes each side here for our reclining twist. Again, you don't need to use props. Okay, settling in for 3 minutes. So far we've opened up the heart center area, so chest and shoulders, and then inner thighs and groin. And this one is the spinal muscles and the waist muscles, the obliques. Several human beings, not necessarily spiritual in any way, have found a way to perform Bhuta Shuddhi unconsciously. You may find people who are leaders in business or politics or art in the world who have this ability. When they enter a room, they change the atmosphere around them by their sheer presence. This is because of a certain amount of unconscious Bhuta Shuddhi. What is done unconsciously, however, has great power when done consciously. When Bhuta Shuddhi is done consciously, the elements rearrange the way they function within you in dramatic ways. Bhuta Shuddhi is actually the most fundamental level at which we can cleanse karma. People can decide to cleanse the mind one morning by trying to alter their attitudes, but by the afternoon they lapse back into the old grooves of thinking. This is why yoga does not work solely with psychology. It's a known fact that the human mind is notoriously unstable and given to oscillation. Yoga places great faith in the physical. However, Bhuta Shuddhi is a way of addressing the very root of your karma, the patterns and predispositions that determine the person you think you are. If you prune the tree, it will sprout back with vengeance, but if you dig out the root, it will be gone. So Bhutta Shuddhi is about radical transformation, not superficial change. It's about voluntarily relinquishing your compulsive hold on everything you've created, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that the very source of creation can shine within you. 30 seconds.10 seconds, everyone. And ever so gently releasing your twist. Take a moment in stillness in the center. Just a breath or two, finding the middle of your spine, finding the shoulders equal on the mat for a moment. And then gently does it. If you're using a bolster, roll it over your body to the other side. No stress, no strain. And setting up your opposite leg up. Taking your time, rolling your chest open. Lovely. And again, 3 minutes here. Reclining twist. So the work that we have to do, what's called the sadhana, the internal work of this last piece of reading says, human performance in any sphere is always gauged in comparison with someone else's. If your capacity to perceive something is better than another's, you have a major advantage. For if you enhance your perceptual capability or your ability to see, the effectiveness of your action will be greatly enhanced. I tell seekers that the aim is not to see something, but simply learn to see. In order to enhance this ability, you could try a simple practice called the Akashi Mudra. You could do this practice particularly on those occasions when you feel the need to be at your best or to perform at your optimal capacity. There is a point of convergence in your energetic body that stretches beyond the physical, approximately 17 to 19 inches from the point between your eyebrows. You must search for the point where the vision meets at an acute angle of 11 degrees, very precise. Finding that point of convergence boosts the akasha or the etheric element within you. The moment the element of akasha is dominant, you'll find the clarity of your perception hugely enhanced. So this is, of course, recorded, this session. If you need to listen to that again and investigate it, feel free to help yourself to the recording. 1 more minute here. The next heading is minimizing physical memory. We'll move on to that in a moment. Thirty more seconds on this side of your twist. Ten seconds. And slowly, gently release. Again, take a moment to reset once you roll off your props. No props required for the next pose. Although, depending on your surface, sometimes a blanket under your hip bones can feel quite nice. It's Sphinx pose. When you're ready, coming over onto your belly, bringing your forearms out in front, and your elbows are approximately under your shoulders. Nice. Settling down into your pelvis, and your feet can be as wide or as close together as your back likes. This is one of the few yin poses that it's easy enough to read in. So, 4 minutes here, and we'll start this next part of the book. Settling in. Anytime the Sphinx feels uncomfortable, just fold your arms and lay your head down. And you can also come higher now and again, placing that little bit of yang into the yin. Okay. So Satguru says, in part 1 of this book, we looked at the insidious nature of physical memory. Runana Bandha, some of you might have heard of that if you've been following these classes. Runanubandha is inevitable and vital for survival, but beyond a point, it can become a source of bondage. In a single lifetime, the volume of physical memory increases enormously. The reason is that people do not know how to manage and minimize this Runanubandha in the system. This is why traditions fixed a certain stability in norms and practices, whether in terms of having a single partner or something as simple as not accepting food or water in a stranger's home, irrespective of class background. In traditional homes in India, people did not accept salt or lemon or sesame seeds from another's hands. I didn't know that. These substances are particularly effective carriers of memory. The premise was that the body remembers any kind of intimacy, not only with another physical body, but with any physical substances. Some substances were considered to be more effective conductors of memory than others. For the same reason, in the yogic system, those who are into certain practices were asked to apply sandalwood paste or turmeric on the body. Others smeared earth on their body, and some ash from the cremation grounds. This is not mere ceremony or superstition. Today, forensic science has developed to the point that it's possible to tell through thermal imagery exactly who sat in a place 72 hours ago. The temperature of the body actually leaves a thermal imprint. Dogs have always been capable of tracking people down. Canine science is an old but advanced one. Every touch actually imparts a karmic imprint, and most of us are not aware of this. The imprint remains on a subtle level. One of the most sensitive areas of the body is the hands. By touching hands, Runanubandha is effectively transmitted from one person to the other. We've been here over 3 minutes now. If you wish, you could always come higher for the last 40 seconds or so. Holding hands is considered to be an intimate gesture for this reason. The simple act can bring two people closer than sexual activity. When sexuality is paramount, the need to explore another's body will be paramount. When you feel really close to someone, it often feels adequate to simply sit and hold hands. 10 seconds. Very gently now, especially if you're up in this higher position of seal. Take your time coming to your elbows and then folding your arms under your forehead and dropping down. You can be in complete stillness. You can take a little shake of your hips. You can lift your feet and do very gentle windshield wipers. Be kind to your body. And then when you're ready, pressing up to all fours. If you find child's pose is uncomfortable because of knees or ankles, just lie on your back, hugging your knees into your chest. Otherwise, either wide-kneed child's pose, feet together, or knees together as well as the feet. Perhaps a block or a cushion here in front of you for your head. And allow your hands to drop down and the elbows wide. Balasana, 3 minutes on this one. Or hugging the knees. Nice. This holding of hands is why the Indian tradition evolved the gesture of the namaskar, of folded hands and greeting when you meet someone, rather than kissing or embracing or shaking hands. The aim was not to clutter your system with too many physical connections. Namaskar is a beautiful greeting because it is deeply respectful acknowledgement of the source of creation within another person. If you look at someone's body or personality, you could either like or dislike it. This means a karmic pattern of craving or aversion is being set in motion. But when you bow down to the source of creation within someone, which is the same source that is within you, it means you acknowledge your shared and inherent divinity. You also ensure that you do not get entangled with yet another body through superfluous physical contact. The practice of touching a guru's feet arose from the same understanding. Like the hands, the feet are particularly sensitive. By touching the feet, the guru's energy could be transmitted to the disciple. An entire science exists around how the guru's feet should be touched to ensure the maximum benefit. Fortunately for me, says Satguru, most people do not really know the science. Although many Indians dive at my feet, they usually do not go beyond a token gesture. There are several other cleansing systems that make use of the purifying powers of the elements. In my own life, when I was into intense yoga practices, I would have somewhere between 5 to 7 showers a day. When your system becomes so sensitive, you become conscious of the impact of every physical contact with your body, from a hand that you touch to the very cushion you lean against. Traditionally, yogis took a dip in the river twice a day at the very minimum. Flowing water can help erase the Runanubandha to a great extent. Very interesting. 5 seconds here in child's pose. And gently release. We have pigeon to swan today. So remember, if you're on your back, again, because of knees, ankles, or hip discomfort, your initial pose might be something like left foot on a block, right ankle crossed over. You might use a strap or your own hands. As this becomes unsensational, you could make a little more sensation by holding the left leg. Otherwise, we're going to be from kneeling, bringing our right knee forward, left leg back. You could have your bolster in front of you as something to prop you up a little bit, or some people like it underneath. So you could have your bolster here, step your right leg over, bring your torso forward, place the groin area onto the bolster, and then use your bolster to keep you up for a minute and then over. I like that. Feels quite supportive, obviously. But again, you could do it without. So, setting up right leg forward or lie on your back, right ankle across. Ready? Total of 5 minutes. So first minute upright and then 4 minutes forward. 1 minute upright. I'll do a variation sitting so I can read to you. Okay. Interestingly, nature offers some natural ways to cleanse oneself of karmic cycles. At certain times of the year in parts of the Northern Hemisphere, for instance, July and December to January, the elements of air and water are particularly strong and fluid. This allows one to cleanse oneself effortlessly. Karmic cycles that have become entrenched can be dropped by simply allowing the external elements to work upon you. Here is effortless Bhuta Shuddhi that happens for free. During certain times, simply standing in the wind can work wonders as a cleansing process. If you try standing in a strong wind for half an hour, you will soon learn what a proper air wash can achieve. It can leave you feeling so much lighter and rejuvenated. That's our first minute. So if you're upright in pigeon, come forward. If you're lying on your back, deepen the stretch inward towards your chest with your right leg. There are times when grace is naturally on your side. Seizing this opportunity can be particularly beneficial for people who are stuck in small karmic cycles. This is the right time to break free of small habits or niggling irritants in your life and see each day as a wonderful opportunity to step into unfamiliar terrain. Traditionally, fire was also used as a means of cleansing. The fire wash is used even today in many homes as a way of washing away negativity. These sensitivities developed because the entire tradition was oriented towards decluttering the system of the impressions gathered through random exposure to people, situations, and atmospheres. Even today in the Isha Yoga Center, the monks wash their clothes separately. Mixing up clothes in a washing machine might be easier, but it is not done because each one is at a different level of spiritual attainment. This is also the reason why the monks in the East traditionally wore earth colours. They use a very finely sieved red earth to wash the clothes in, and this ensures that the only real Runana that you hold is with the earth, not with the people around you. It's a tangible testimony to your connection with the planet and a reminder of where your body comes from and where it will eventually go. Almost there. A minute and a half left here. You can maybe lengthen your left leg further back if you're in Sleeping Swan, or deepen your hug into your chest if you're on your back. The old songs and poems of the East from an ancient love lyrics to pop songs and cinemas extolled lifetimes, life after life of togetherness, not merely for romantic reasons. Continuity and stability were valorized because they ensured a firm and reliable basis to your life from which you could aspire to the ultimate. Marriage was not just about two people's little romances with their families. It was about two people coming together for their ultimate liberation. This is why so many traditions view marriage as a sacrament. In traditional Hindu ritual, the mantras chanted while the couples circle the sacred fire is about consecrating the relationship and energy of two people so that they can grow together to their ultimate possibility. 10 seconds. Feeling the outer hips and the glutes, deep emotional storage centers here. 3, 2, 1. If you're on your back, simply release your legs and allow stillness. If you're in sleeping swan, coming into downward facing dog often feels like such a good place to go. You can bend and straighten your knees. You could take that right leg in the sky and shake it out. Take a moment. And then coming into left side forward, upright into pigeon, or a nice easy left ankle crossed over right, half or reclined pigeon. First minute upright, 4 minutes in swan. Today, at Isha, the yoga center that Satguru runs, we're conducting what is known as the Bhuta Shuddhi Vivaha. Vivaha. This is a marriage based on bringing about an element of cohesiveness between two people. In a world where couples see relationships as more and more hard work, where love has become labor, this kind of marriage creates harmony on the most fundamental level possible, making it a more lubricated and graceful partnership. When a certain stability in physical, genetic, emotional, and social relationship is attained, individual human life can grow to its peak. Okay, deepening your pose, so either hugging the leg in or coming forward into your sleeping swan. 4 more minutes. When there is instability, the physical memory grows confused, and over a period of time can create serious psychological and physiological imbalances. If your ultimate aim is liberation, if your ultimate aspiration is to evolve into a divine possibility, this stability offers you an unwavering foundation from which you can extend yourself towards your final destination. The physical world is a product of polarities, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, Ida and Pingala, Shiva and Shakti, right brain, left brain. And the longing to find the union of polarities finds expression through ambition, conquest, love, sex, and yoga. Yoga means union. The simplest form of yoga is to place your palms together in namaskar, bringing harmony between the two polarities within you. Try putting your hands together in proper alignment and looking at someone or something with loving attention. In 3 to 5 minutes, you will begin to harmonize. Namaskar yourself into peace. Namaskar yourself into love. Namaskar yourself into union. Let us put our palms together and unite the world. May you unfold your being with folded hands. Oh, that's so nice. May you unfold your being with folded hands. 1.5 more minutes here. Deepen if you wish, or just simply be. When we were in Sphinx pose, it was a lower back compression, an opening for your front body. In child's pose, we were stretching our lower back. Here, like I said, we're opening our outer hips and glutes, making space. Our next pose is going to be a forward bend that mainly targets the hamstrings of the back of the thighs and the spine. 45 more seconds here. Easy breathing. If you come to a place in a yin pose where it makes you hold your breath, you've gone too far. And just back out a little. Ten seconds. And then slowly, gently, again, whatever feels good to leave that pose and get it out of your body. Downward facing dog, maybe shaking out that left leg. Or if you're on your back, simply release your legs. We'll get ready for our caterpillar, which in Yang Yoga is called Paschimottanasana. A bit like when we did our very first pose, depending on the size of your prop will make quite a difference to the sensation in your body. So when we are ready, we'll come to sitting. You could, if you're not using props, you could place your own arms under your knees. We would like to feel a stretch in our spine, but it would also be quite nice if we could access some stretch in our hamstrings. But the more our knees are bent, the more it's just going to be your spine stretching. So with your arms underneath, you could walk your feet away and you might gather some sensation in your thighs. You could pop a small rolled up blanket underneath you, or again, a beach towel. Or if you love using the bolster, again, using both is quite nice. So many options here. You could lift up your hips just on the very edge of your blanket and then place the bolster under your knees for maximum comfort, as long as we still have some sensation of stretch, and then folding over. Caterpillar. I'm going to face this way so that I can be near the microphone. Okay. We're running out of time, so let's just do 3 minutes here. Last little bit of reading in these last couple of poses. Spirituality and fast-forward karma. When you consciously seek freedom from karma through a spiritual practice, you're essentially on fast-forward. When you churn up your inner life, certain dimensions of your karma come to the forefront. At such junctures, it's possible to experience intense pain or discomfort. Of course, this could mean that you've contracted some ailment, but frequently this is just your past karma surfacing and manifesting itself in one way or another. The whole point of the spiritual process is to take on more of a karmic load than your allotted one in order to finish off as much as possible. It means you do not want to keep repeating the same cycles again and again. So, if you are in an active spiritual process, you may find everything moving at a bewildering pace. Physical troubles that used to beset you every 6 months are now coming every 6 hours. This is only because you have chosen to work out your karma as soon as possible. You are choosing not to live a sanitized life that regards spirituality as mere placidity. If your karma were to unwind slowly, it would probably create small aches over a long period of time. But the fast forward of karma often means you experience intense pain, but fleetingly. Many people have become less alive, less joyful, and their lives slower and more apathetic because they experience low-level pain for long stretches of time. A spiritual journey simply cranks up the process, so what you might have spread over 3 months or a year happens in a few minutes. It's important to allow this fast-forward karmic process to happen. Don't suppress it. It's wise to let your physical body burn up your karma as soon as possible. The basis of Hatha Yoga is just this. You learn to handle pain in the same way as you handle pleasure. If you can learn this, you achieve an equanimity that will carry you beyond the turbulence of the karmic process. In yoga, the practice of internal cleansing often hastens the karmic process without interference. When you put chemicals into the system, you're creating another karma for which you pay a price in the future. Alrighty, slowly, slowly, gently coming out of your forward fold. As soon as you come out, maybe just place your hands behind you and allow a lift of your chest and chin. Couple of deep breaths. And we are going on our back, and the bolster or a couple of blocks is coming under your hips. The bolster is really nice for a reclining bridge. So as you lie down, knees bent, you might come up onto your tippy toes to make space and pull your bolster underneath you. Settling your feet, settling your head, shoulders and arms. And while we're here, you can sometimes stretch out the legs, maybe the arms too are in an overhead stretch. Sometimes you might want to just keep your knees bent. And the last minute, I'll invite you to take your legs to the sky. So let's start with our knees bent first, our shoulders wide, body relaxed. Soften, relax, surrender. Supported bridge opens the pelvic area, the hip flexors. Many different parts of the psoas can be felt here. First minute, keep it simple. Those people who are meditative will experience deep levels of joy, but it can also open up to deep levels of pain. The pain is only for short duration because their higher level of awareness allows them to work it out quickly. When you go into even deeper levels of meditation, if you take a single wrong step, the effect manifests immediately, and then you have to correct it. But for the person who lives in unawareness, this process can be slow and deep. What takes a lifetime could be over on the very day for the spiritual aware person because they immediately take corrective measures. That's your first minute. So if you want to take arms overhead and legs extended fully, this will change the sensations. If you become meditative and still carry negativity, your negative karmas become 1,000 times more powerful because you have become that much more sensitive and receptive. Suppose you cultivate the soil and enrich it with manure. The crops will grow well, but the same manure will also enable weeds to grow. Similarly, when you cultivate a meditative state and allow negative emotions to flourish, inner suffering increases dramatically. It's important to be extra cautious about weeding when you are in such a state. Otherwise, you'll be left with a forest of weeds and no crop. The reason those on the spiritual path have a daily practice is just this: to ensure that karmic stagnation does not happen. You may have noticed that if you have a daily practice and you stop it for 6 months, many recurrent issues, physical, psychological, and social, that have not bothered you for a while, begin returning. Okay, I invite you to bring your arms by your side and your feet up in the air for our last minute here. This is how the karmic cycle works. You may have believed you were transformed, but you will suddenly find all kinds of compulsive behaviors returning with a vengeance. Only practice, or sadhana as we call it, will help to break the cyclical movement of life. Next week's reading is Karma Yoga and the Mental Body. 30 seconds. On this last few seconds, invite the feet back to find the earth, back to our original bridge position. And then slowly, gently, lifting up onto your tippy toes to slide your support out. Lie down on your back. And once lying down, bring your knees into your hands. Let's have just a moment of happy baby here. So you could just bring your knees wide and hold. That might suffice, and you feel lovely connection with all your spinal muscles on the earth. Or you might bring your feet into your hands above your knees. It's okay to have gentle movement here before we come into stillness. And then dropping down into your feet. Feel free to put your bolster or rolled up blanket under your knees, or lengthen out your legs and find Shavasana. Surrender your body, dropping down into your connection behind you. And for these last few moments, feeling that resting position, the support under your body, your arms resting by your side, palms up to receive, palms down to feel more grounded. And also it depends how your shoulders feel with that. Allow yourself to simply be. Tell yourself that there is nothing left to do, no one else that you have to be aware of, nowhere else that you need to be. Relax. Yogis, please take some extra time. Just stay where you are, feeling your connection with the earth, and sending you all my love and blessings and namaskars. May you be happy today. May you be well. May you feel ease in your body. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, wherever you are, and I'll see you all very soon. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.